Healthy Mompreneurs Get Wealthy. So, Kath Richards, RD, hopping in today. I wanted to hop in because I've had some people reaching out. They have questions about the Craving Change Program that starts next week. It is a group program. I've been running it in person since 2008, and now I'm going to bring it online because I really want to help more people. And obviously, most of us are working out of our homes, so it's an ideal time to kind of bring it. I see a lot of people talking about emotional eating or sharing funny memes about it. And I just thought, well, I have the tools to help, so I'm going to bring the program to you guys. So I've had some questions about how it actually will work, the price, what we're going to talk about in the group, and just what that support looks like. So I thought I would hop on and give you guys the quick rundown of the Craving Change program. It's a fun program. I usually go facilitate it with a social worker or a mental health counselor because in this setting where I work, that's a good connection point that we have. I'm going to run it myself this time. I've got all that content, and I think I've ran it with 4 different mental health counselors over the years. So I'm the constant in the program, and then there's people that come in and out because nobody wants to work evenings. And before I had kids, I didn't really care. And then after I had kids, honestly, I didn't mind working a few evenings a week because it gave me like that me time, and it gave me more time with my kids in the morning. So, Craving Change, what is it? It is a program to help you change your relationship with food. There's a workbook that comes with the program. It was developed by a dietitian and a psychologist out in Western Canada who kept seeing people come into their clinic that had similar issues around food. So they decided to kind of put everything together and then deliver it as a program. So the Craving Change workbook, anyone that signs up, I'm mailing them a copy of the workbook. So I have a few clients in the UK, so they'll have to, I'll scan pages and share them until they're able to get their books, because obviously it takes a few weeks. And with the pandemic, we know that Canada Post is operating slower, so they're asking us to have patience. But the workbook walks you through the content that we're going to go through. It has something in it called a change buffet. Okay, so these are all the techniques that you're going to walk away with at the end of the program to be able to go back to. When you know that you're emotional eating, you're going to go back to those techniques and pick the ones that work for you. So there's 13. Don't let that overwhelm you. Usually there's 1 or 2 that the clients in the group love and come back to. So when I've done follow-up with the people that have done the program, I've had a couple people come back through the program a few years later because it's been running for 12 years. They find the content is still relevant, still great, and they maybe try a different technique that they didn't really utilize, and then they still get benefit from that. So if you feel like you attach your emotions to eating unhealthy foods, you eat when you're not hungry, but you're feeling emotional and you know that, or you comfort yourself, picking the wrong food choices, this might be the program for you. I'm going to tell you a bit about what we're going to cover, but the program is really an understanding of why we eat the way we do, not what to eat. Okay, so the program's not going to go through this is how your day should look and this is what you should do. Depending on how many people are in the group, I'm keeping the group small. I keep them to 8 people. So obviously if some people don't come one week or, there's a lower attendance, you'll have more time to ask your questions. But the focus of this group is really why we're eating, not what you're eating. So to help people with that, the cost of the emotional eating program is inexpensive, but then I've also offered a 50% off for what to eat session, so you can know that you're on the right path with your eating, and then combine that with emotional eating. In the clinic where I work, we used to make people do a full 6 or 12-week program. It was 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 6 weeks on what to eat before they came into this 6-week program. So we really wanted to make sure they had that background. I'm able to kind of get there quick with you and give you that background in that one what to eat session, just to make sure you're on the right path to help this information work as well as it can. So I'm offering the program twice on Monday, starting Monday, October 19th, 12 o'clock at noon and 7 o'clock at night, Eastern Standard Time, and that's to help accommodate some of the time zones that we've got participating in the group. So you get the workbook, and I mail that out after you've registered. So what's in the program? So in week 1, it's quite intensive content for the program. But week 1, we talk about why it's hard to change, and then we look at all the factors that influence our eating behaviors. Okay, so that's environment, body, learned behaviors, things that we've learned over the years, and we're looking at reasons for eating and types of hunger. So I'm really going to give you some strategies to walk away with. When I run the program in the clinic, the first week's kind of just about awareness, and it feels like we're sending them away without any tools to use. I'm going to give you guys some strategies right off the bat, week 1, that I want you to take, and I want you to try them out and see how they go. They're not things that take a long time. They take maybe 5 minutes in your day where you just go through some checkpoints and see how you're doing. And the change buffet strategies, week 1, we'll talk about quenching your thirst, nurturing yourself, and renovating your environment. So I'll walk you guys through how to do those things. In week 2, we're going to continue to look at what needs changing. So week 1, we looked at why it's hard to change. Week 2, we're going to move right into what needs to change. We're going to talk about increasing your awareness around eating triggers. So we'll use a technique called HALT. I did a video on that yesterday. It's on my business page if you want to take a look at that. And then we'll really focus on self-awareness. So we're going to consider the circumstances around eating, what's happening when you're eating, where are you, who are you with, because those are all going to influence your eating behavior. We'll look at an emotions inventory that often is helpful for people to kind of see the impact of the emotion, the eating, and then what happens after we eat, and an eating log. And what that's really doing is putting the emphasis back on the awareness, okay? Because the first step to overcoming emotional eating is really the self-awareness piece. I've got a little opt-in that's going to go along with that, so I'll share it with the group as well. But you might see that coming out in different posts from time to time. And then we'll use a couple of change strategies, distract yourself, how to put your craving on hold. So I'll walk you through that. And then in week 3, we're going to talk about how you can change. And we're really looking at a cognitive behavioral approach to changing your thoughts and your behaviors. Okay, so not doing therapy in the group, but we're using that CBT model that works well to help with behavior change. And then the change buffet is going to have a thought stopping activity, 80-20 rule, which is a popular one. We'll look back at journaling, how that can be helpful. We'll flip the switch for going from negative talk to positive self-talk, because that's a huge piece. And other ways that we can sample from the change buffet as we go. Week 4 is all about keeping the change and helping you set goals so you can have that success. What it looks like if you have a little relapse and you slip towards success versus going all the way back to collapse. So we'll talk about that. And change buffet that week, we talk about problem solving, ambushing your triggers, asserting yourself in different situations, how to stop sabotaging yourself, and really how to manage stress. So you can see there's a lot of content in the program. That's why I put on the landing page, if you click on it, you'll see 60 to 90 minutes per session. So I can fully understand if you can't stay for the whole session. It just depends how many people show up and how much sharing and interaction there is in the group, how it's going to go. So the program is 6 hours of group discussion, up to 6 hours. The workbook, you would get 6 weeks of a group support via Facebook, where I'm going to come in every day, see if you guys have questions. And I'm probably going to be doing like a touch point every week with everyone individually anyways, because I really want you guys to get the full benefit of my expertise in the area. I'm not going to lie, I'm an emotional eater and I have to keep it in check, especially with all the stuff and life circumstances that have been happening. But I know that if you guys take these strategies and you implement them consistently, that you can overcome emotional eating. And the fun part is when people come back to see me like a few months later and they think, oh, I think I did okay. And then when we actually get into like what they're eating and we go through their day, they're like, oh, I don't even have that thought anymore. Like I wouldn't even go down that route. It's just like my day is set up, and emotional eating doesn't even factor in, but they don't even notice because it's just like they've regulated their emotions and their food is to fuel their body. All right, guys, so I hope that answered all your questions. I know there was a question about the support piece, so that's going to happen in a Facebook group. The sessions themselves will happen on Zoom just because that's a safe way to, share the content with you. And then, like I said, the workbooks, I'll mail them out as the registrations come in. So if during week 1 you don't have the workbook, no problem. I'm going to scan and send you guys the pages, and then you'll have all that content to work with. All right, guys, so that is it. Happy Wednesday. Happy middle of the week. I usually would have picked up my kids half an hour ago, but my week shifted, so I'm getting used to having a little extra time on Wednesday, so I thought I would hop in and say hi. All right, guys, so any questions, let me know, and if you're interested in the group, click on the link, and then we can go from there. Thanks, guys. I hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week.